Again, Dr. Philip Melanson.
William Bryan was, by his own admission, one of the primary researchers for the government in brainwashing and hypnoprogramming and in a variety of things. He was an out-of-control super hypno character who he was an outreach for the government and was, by his own admission...
Dr. Flamboyant of these was the late Dr. William Bryan. Again, Dr. Philip Melanson.
William Bryan was, by his own admission, one of the primary researchers for the government in brainwashing and hypnoprogramming and in a variety of things. He was an out-of-control super hypno character who exploited women through his hypnosis practice and was temporarily disbarred as a result. He bragged about his work for the government, said he was the czar of brainwashing, and he was also involved with the man I call Reasoner and with another man, all of whom worked together in Southern and Northern California, all of whom worked for the government, and my belief is that two of them, if not three of them, had something to do with Sirhan's programming.
William Bryan was a rather large man, weighing 386 pounds. He has been variously referred to as the most brilliant man in the field of hypnotism and as a, quote, misguided genius. His private practice involved sex therapy, and by his own admission, he frequently had sex with his female patients. Did William Bryan believe that a subject could be programmed to perform acts that were out of character? Let's listen.
You have to have the person locked up physically, and there is also the use of long-term hypnotic suggestion, probably drugs, whatever, and so on. Under these situations where you have all this going for you, yes, you can brainwash a person to do just about anything.
Did William Bryan have anything at all to do with Robert Kennedy's accused killer? Well, in the year before his death in 1976, Bryan reportedly bragged to two prostitutes who serviced him regularly that he had, in fact, hypnotized Sirhan. Bryan also liked to brag about his most crowning achievement, the deprogramming of Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strangler. In Sirhan's notebook, that strange document with page after page of almost indecipherable trance-induced scribbling, there appears the entry, God help me, please help me. Salvo, di salvo, dies salvo. It's a curious notation to be sure, but is it possible that while working upon Sirhan, the programmer couldn't help talking about his favorite subject? And that this entry, by way of the captured mind of Sirhan, is really the palm print of Dr. William Bryan? If we take Sirhan's words, it's just not me, at face value, then who was it?
Nothing is real, you're significant. Lady rebels.
We set out strawberry fields forever. We were convinced a few lads would discover the prophet's message, but nothing happened.
When the Liverpool people came here to London, they brought with them the freedom, the money they've made. A centre is what is needed. That's what the bookshop here in Indica was designed. But the bookshop wasn't enough. A newspaper seemed to be the only way to get them all to meet.
One of the staff members and a co-founder held a competition in the first issue of the newspaper. His name was Jan Iarkomo, apparently a Polish filmmaker. The same Jan Iarkomo who ran this ad in the next issue. The same Jan Iarkomo who contributed to the Church of the Final Judgment and their magazine, The Process. The same Jan Iarkomo who engaged his friend Yoko Ono to perform an exhibition at his own Indica gallery.
She was having a show at this gallery. So anyway, I finally got to this show, and she had all these things on, like all these like hammer nail things, and that clock there, you listen to it through a stethoscope, all the things. There was this ladder and a thing on the ceiling. So I climbed the ladder, and on the ceiling it said, yes. But it said yes, and that was enough, you know. And then she came up and said she didn't know who I was.
They didn't know about it.
Yoko
came round to my house.
She knew who the Beatles were because
met him.
She met you.
Yeah.
She knew of the Beatles.
They really know about it.
I don't know, you
But
know.
of course, I mean, if she knocked on your door, she knew you were a Beatle.
The same Ian Iacocca that wrote Paperback Writer. The same Ian Iacocca, whose name backwards sounds like, listen, Ian Iacocca, Ian Iacocca, Paul McCartney, Paul McCartney.
So Maya was anyway telling me on to a lot of that International Times, Evergreen, all those little things. Lots of very far out. And we used to do a lot of that.
This means that someone like Paul McCartney is on the scene and have supported it in both direct and indirect ways, and will probably say we have the same concept of freedom as he does. I've all found a certain similarity in their aims, more intimate and direct.
So, way before John met Yoko and got avant-garde, I was like the avant-garde London bachelor with Miles, my pad in St. John's Wood. I was making like 8 movies and we were showing them to Antonioni. I was into quite sort of heavy avant-garde trip. I used to sit with Burroughs in the basement, and I remember sitting around with Burroughs, you know, to do little tapes and backward crazy stuff.
Spell out your sons forever.
Took place at 80 institutions, including 44 universities, 15 private companies, 12 hospitals, and 3 prisons. MKUltra Subproject 119 was the foundation of all non-lethal weapons programs currently active and included a summary of 5 areas. Dr. Stephen Aldrich took control of the Office of Research and Development in 1962 from Dr. Sidney Gottlieb. Aldrich started Operation Often, an investigation into the occult with the help of Houston sorceress Sybil Leek. CIA behaviorists carefully studied every aspect of the occult underground. In 1972, SEI also sponsored a course at the University of South Carolina in rituals of demonology and voodoo. Dr. Aldrich was an MKUltra programmer who focused on remote brain manipulation and the occult, the twin threads that run through SEI Corporation. The Manson family was associated with the Process Church, which according to the Utah Department of Public Safety moved to southern Utah and changed their name to the Foundation. In a 1990 internal memo authored by church authority Glenn L. Pace, allegations were made of ritual abuse and human sacrifice. Pace writes that he has met with 60 victims of ritual abuse, but there were probably 2 to 3 times as many victims. 53 were female and 7 were male, 8 of which were children. All are members of the Mormon Church. 45 victims alleged they witnessed or participated in human sacrifice. The majority were abused by relatives. All had developed psychological problems such as multiple personality disorder. Quote, "The memories come in layers. The first might be of incest. Another layer might well be the memory of seeing people hurt or even killed. Then they remember having seen babies killed. Another layer is realizing that they participated in the sacrifices. One of the most painful memories may be that they even sacrificed their own baby. I have only seen those coming forth to get help. They are in their 20s and 30s for the most part. I can only assume that it is expanding geometrically, and am horrified by the numbers represented by the generation who are now children and teenagers." Unquote. Dr. Joseph Mengele found that trauma bonding and mind control work best when the victim is forced to kill someone they love, usually a twin.
This is the type of satanic encoding that you'll see connects different types. Here you see the red and white stripes of the flag draped beside Sharon Tate's ritually murdered body, inverted pentagrams facing towards her. In the last movie that Sharon Tate appeared in while she was alive, The Valley of the Dolls, that starred bouncing on the trampoline Academy Award winner Patty Duke, youngest Academy Award winner at 16. 16 stab wounds in Sharon Tate. There's the ruby red slippers of Oz. Notice we see the goddess scene and goddess imagery, Sharon Tate's face, and red and white bars, similar to the many red and white bars that were in the trampoline scene from the movie where she starred in Don't Make Waves, where she starred in as Malibu, and some believe that the Malibu doll, Malibu Barbie is patterned after Sharon Tate, which would make it a satanic voodoo doll that would contain the energy of the ritualistic murder spell.
Miriam's not gonna like that.
Wear it, no doubt about it. You fall for it, yes. Into this clothing line. Now, I already told you people that it's all satanic people control what the life that we live. No doubt about it. Everything that they give you, yes, it's coming from the satanic people. Here, this UN seal. This is what they use for their logo. You see the same leaf go around it. Yes, it's the same leaf you see on the money. Do it right here. Satanic shit to the core. And I tell you people, all these shit that you see they come out with already out. Okay, you make a pants that already out. Nothing groundbreaking, but these people get put on in the clothing line industry. Why? I'm telling you right now. How the hell Puff Daddy get to sell jeans? Jeans been around forever. Why put him on? It's a devil puppet 100%. As you can see, he made this one right here with the dinosaur with the crown on. It's nothing but a mockery to the people. Yes, dinosaur never exists, just a fake animal. And as you can see right there, Sean John, 32 in numerology. Yes, Scottish Freemasonry, 100%. Not the highest, not 33, but 32. Same Freemasonry. You see OJ wear this. You see Magic shit. No doubt about it. I already told you people. Yes, I wear these gears, but I tell you what, yes, it is satanic. 100% in. When I tell you, Louis Vuitton, satanic shit, LV, bam! There you go right there. What you think LV mean? There you go. They give you this bag right here with the one eye symbol and the damn teeth coming out of it. What you think? Satanic, bam! LV in numerology, bam! That's number 9 right there in plain sight. Yes, because the L is a number 3 and the V is a 6. You can't miss it. There you go. L. There you go. L right there, number 3, right there. V right there, number 6. You can't hide it. That's why they do it. LV, Louis Vuitton, satanic. Bam! Now this is Chanel with your CC, and as you notice, the C turned sideways. So you get that I in the middle. Don't doubt it. That's what it is. 100% in. Coco Chanel CC 33 numerology. As you can see, there go your Chanel right there. It's a man in a drag. They used to sell this shit right here on the masses. Yes, a man in a drag sell your purse. As you can see, the Chanel right there. The CC bleeding. No doubt about it. That's how it is. It's a satanic shit. Take it all. What do you get from it? Anyway you take it. UU is 33 numerology. CC 33 just the same. What is this? And give you that one eye right there in the middle. Don't sleep, people. Wake your ass up. And this is what everybody wear now. Wake, you can avoid a lot of stuff. Now, This is the same Under Armour give you this bat right there on the shirt, which I already explained to you about the bat, the occult of the bat. But if you notice, it's 2-3 turned down right there in plain sight. Can you see it? Yes, 3-3 in the bat. That's why they use it. That's why you the K numerology hand up to that. Yes, that's what it is. No doubt when I tell you. Now this Nike right here, as you can see, Nike and this Swiss. Don't sleep. All the fucking people that run mind game on you, you pyramid with the damn sign in it right there. Wake your ass up. Another pyramid in the bottom to make an eye. That's what it is. Bam! There you as you can see right there with the number 3 on it. They never leave it out. That's what you need inside. That's what the polo. Don't doubt me. Orange shirt with the number 3.
Wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a Black man.
Michael and I also want
He kind of introduced us. Okay. Second time that I saw Mr. Trump was same scenario. He was onlooking at an orgy, and Tiffany came over to me and said that Donald Trump had requested that I perform oral sex on him, and I'd never done something like that with anybody, so I was a little nervous. So I walked up to him, and he was sitting there very proud, and I just kind of moved in that direction, and he kind of slapped me away and said, "What are you doing? You need to put a condom on," like I was some dirty filth or something without a condom. Tiffany ran over and handed him a condom and apologized, profusely, and said that would never happen again. And she looked at me and scolded me basically like a child and said that, that's not how Donald Trump always, anytime you touch his penis, it needs to have a condom on or a glove, and especially when it comes to performing oral sex. So I apologized, and then I performed oral sex on him. And once he
these algorithms that has search words and shit.
If you go to Disney World, for instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
and the
on.
Soviets had a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just going to act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source. That's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden that fetus is gone because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Grace. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so if we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
On the DNA sequencing. And they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of
And to break it down, like that's why they also need to charge, because if I'm putting my consciousness into a saline copy of me, like the me living in that new fresh water cell body, like isn't gonna actually, like it's gonna not feel like the body I was born in. And so they reckon that every like 8 hours or so, they can't go longer than like a certain amount of time without needing another charge, that electric charge, to keep the body going.
Remember I told you about that movie?
So that's why they always pass out and they need handlers. Yeah, that's why. And also if they're
the movie The Substance.
Yeah, and also
just to keep going back and getting another shot.
Right, but so like when you see them passing out on TV and them having fits and all these things,
and their eyes
and then their bodyguards come around and pick them up, and then they have to quickly take them off in a car because they need the electric charge to be able to still stand up. And then the other thing is, if they're in that body for like, let's say you're in it for 8 hours, you get recharged, then you're in it for another 8. By the time you get back to your original one, you have been in REM, not sleep. You've been REM, running around in an actual clone, physically exerting your soul and your conscience. Like you're being mentally awake that whole time. So then when you do wake up in your natural body, that body's just gone 8 hours or even longer, 16 hours of full focus, cognitive, like you've used all your mental energy for that day. So then when you're back in your real body, you're basically passing out as well.
And is your other body getting old and wrinkly?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It explains all of like them having glitches, them passing out.
Why would you do that?
Them being overly tired all the time. Well, you wouldn't unless you were a sicko who wants to. Only if you're a sicko who wants to watch people like killing each other in death matches in an arena and betting on it with like Richard Branson and people like that. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't, unless you're going to stay up in the CC for 24 hours, like doing whack stuff, watching snuff, and like getting off on torturing kids. Do you know what I mean? You don't. Like, but they do, and that's why they pass out all the time, and they look like they're underslept, and that like they're a bit slow. They're a bit Joe Biden, Hunter Biden slow.
Tripping up the stairs.
Yeah. Their brain's not fully there because they've been using it for a day and a night. Think about how well go with 8 hours sleep.
The dams, but what I'm saying is, why go round using it outside?
Because they probably are scared someone will. That they've been a victim. Yeah, a victim of one of theirs might. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because they victimize real normal people, and they can kill them perpetually. Like, it's like one thing killing a regular person, like in a ritual, like you kill the real human, but imagine you can clone that person 20 times and you can get off every time. You can get off on the whole thing, you know, sexually abusing them, everything. You can get off on killing them multiple times. It's like you've got an untapped supply of all my wildest snuff fantasies like Hostel. You've got an unlimited supply of bodies. They can grow new ones for you to torture. Like, yeah, and it is like that.
They still want to have baby... what do you call it?
Yeah,
the breeders. They still want to have breeders making babies.
No, but they don't need breeders. They'll grow a full-grown other human and abuse that person. Like, you know, Britney Spears? Like, bro, like, all of them that go crazy like that, probably because they've gone through it too. Do you know what I mean? Like, the shoe's not always... It's like, you're the victim and I'm the perpetrator. The shoe's not necessarily always on... Like, maybe I'm the perpetrator half the time, but then the other half of the time that when I'm not perpetrating torture on you, Alana's torturing me.
What?
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like a ring of, well, that person tortured me. I was that guy's, you know, beta.
Yeah, I did hear a testimony of Jack Black saying if he didn't do the next movie...
Yeah, they would have maybe done something to him. Yeah, exactly. And then when he does it,
threatening to kill his clone.
And then once he jumps through the hoop like a good dog, then he can go off and get off on whoever he does it to. Do you know what I mean? Guilt free, because I've jumped through my hoops for the devil.
Yeah. Do you think that like half of be in the club in the first place is like it's okay? Yeah.
They get
whatever.
dirt. They get dirt on you. So they can blackmail you and keep you in the club.
Yeah, I know that.
And yesterday we found out they have books where they've written everything down that I've written everything down that you've done. So if you try to blackmail me, I've got all the dirt, and I try to blackmail you. So everyone's trying to
you know who I've killed, and I know who you've killed.
But what I was gonna say is like to get in the club in the first place, they make you do this stuff, right? But if you're just born into it, that's how you're raised, and you think, oh, well, this is just how it works.
But then you never grow a conscience at any stage.
But like
you
you
hit
either
21
do
and you don't.
they kill you, or you don't, and you're in it for life.
Yeah, fuck it, kill me.
Only a few have
Kill
come
me.
out.
Do kill me.
But then
I would
they
rather
get
that than
clones.
video.
So
Fiona got out,
You know
and
what I
who's
mean?
that other girl that killed everyone in the room?
Jeanette Archer.
She got out.
Yeah, die
But
fighting, dude.
probably
Die
very
fighting.
few.
They're gonna kill you anyway.
But
I
then
might
you
as well
think
take
about
as
all
many
the
of them with
people
me.
who are already famous. They're the one who have jumped through all these hoops to get where they are, to be in the position.
And they haven't
that they're
fought.
in.
They haven't fought against it at all, or done anything to stop it.
And Liam and I were discussing how to get all those.
So I don't feel bad for them when
to
they're
get
the ones
5
that do it.
number 1 hits. You must have done some real bloodbath rituals.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, you can have 5 number 1 hits and become world famous, like Katy Perry.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jackson.
Madonna.
Michael Jackson's music was actually shit. Like, I hate Michael Jackson's music. Like, I think he's actually. I think he's a bad singer. Do you know what I mean?
He's not a good artist.
Do you know why? Why was he so famous?
He was famous from the time he was little.
Yeah. No. But.
Like. He was
there was
Justin
just always
Bieber.
crap happening because
He was Justin Bieber back in
you
the
think
day.
about it, because it's like
who sings songs about yummy
who's
yummy?
dyeing their like skin color, which is just crazy.
Well, who's raping kids at Neverland Ranch and paying
like
the parents off?
Hanging like
with
a
little
baby
boys in
looking
their
thing
bed.
off the
And his
balcony.
best friend's
Yeah,
a
with little boys in
monkey.
his bed with their crusty
His best
undies.
friend's a chimpanzee.
Yeah, and he's got all these kid shows in his room.
Yeah.
He's got all these
Apparently he,
Peter Pan posters and he's obsessed with Disney.
Apparently he was going broke because he would just spend so much money all the time.
Yeah, I think he was a full-blown retard, bro. He was one of the biggest pedos ever. Do you know what I mean? I think he was just a full-blown crazy person.
Tortured and stayed like a child.
By raping kids.
An evil child.
Yeah, no, see, do you know what I mean? It's like there's no logical, you can't even explain it, dude. They're not human. They're so inhuman, we'll never understand it.
You can't justify
no
the action.
Yeah, no, how do you justify jizzing in little kids' undies in your bed?
He was abused.
Do you know what I mean?
You can't.
Yeah, so what? Heaps of people got abused as a child. They didn't go and pay off parents so they could fuck their kids on Neverland Ranch and get them drunk on his wine.
It's not funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really happened. And he was really into like all the Freemasonic, throwing up horns all the time, covering up one eye, having all the Illuminati symbolism, having a giant statue of himself in a music video. Bro, like being like a New World Order antichrist dude. Whole persona was literally Antichrist. Do you know what I mean? He was the savior. He was the savior of the world by raping kids.
He wanted to be as big as Elvis.
He was,
so
and
he called himself the King of Pop.
Yeah.
Because Elvis was the king.
And then his daughter dated Michael Jackson.
Presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think
they're walking around. They look old, but they basically some of the people are just
I'll just give you something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like that. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that, and then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland, and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact. One of our
Stalin
contacts.
Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body, and he got the body back, and he said, we had different ears, and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend that all he does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out, because they always got 2 people following them and they may be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what is going on.
Okay, so...
Now, let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Mm-hmm. Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts, they said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized.
Right,
Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we've made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. You have to discern what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way.
And then it was such a hit. It was way bigger than I even anticipated. And now, I think we're going to make part 2. I think you have to. I think you, have to. They kill you if you try to walk away. And they clone you.
Because what he was saying was that there's like a multiplicity of ways that they do it. So they can do the Mission Impossible thing and just get a stand-in actor playing you, or they can get a guy with a consciousness on a Soul Stone chip to pilot your body, a replication of you, or they can also have a straight-up robot, which is what I'm pretty sure they said was Mark Zuckerberg, because there's the 2 Mark Zuckerbergs. There's one with him with blue eyes and blonde hair, and then there's the one with him with short brown hair and black, not even brown eyes, black, not your iris, what's it called?
Pupil?
Yeah, no, not your pupil, your iris, sorry. That's what I meant. Not your pupil. But yeah, his irises were black, and he was literally like a robot. His voice and movements were robotic. And I reckon that's all true, bro. Yeah, I am Mark Zuckerberg. And then there's him with blonde hair and blue eyes yeah, I'm a party animal, man.
Super slow motion video of Flight 175 that hit the South World Trade Center tower on 9/11/2001. Take a really close look, because there are 2 impossibilities I'm going to show you here. This video was allegedly shot by Michael Herzakani, a diamond merchant based in Los Angeles, California. The first impossibility is a real airplane couldn't have sliced through a building with a steel facade with reinforced concrete flooring and 47 steel support beams. A jet's wing can't slice through a steel building like a hot knife through butter. But that's the story the news media wants us to believe, and most people are still believing this hoax. But the second impossibility is in plain sight. In fact, I can't believe it took me over 12 years to see. Let me show you a still of this video. I've highlighted a building that's clearly behind the South World Trade Center tower. Yet when we pay close attention to the video, Flight 175's wing should appear in front of the building, not behind it. This is a layering CGI glitch, and this proves that this video, which was seen all over the world, over and over and over again, year after year, is a CGI rendering. Thus, it's not an amateur witness video. It's a fake. And this is one of many, many faked videos put out by the news media. Super slow-mo.
one of the things I wanted to show, this is a page from a military manual talking about stuff that they would like to get in the year 2025. This is called Airborne Holographic Projector.
Their eyes, and I said, yeah.
American 11, are you trying to call?
The cockpit is not answering their phone. Our number 1 has been staffed, and our 5 is...
Over here.
What are those people?
United. I believe it is...
Mossad agents said it may well.
Unconfirmed reports of arrests that took place. 100.
In the days after the September attacks, there were countless rumors about strange coincidences surrounding the events. One report about a group of Middle Eastern men spotted the morning of September 11th parked just across the river from New York City has not gone away. Investigation of their presence has led to questions about whether Israel was conducting espionage on U.S. soil. We're joined now by ABC's John Miller with an exclusive report this evening.
That's right, Elizabeth. This is a case that took the FBI and the CIA more than 2 months to sort out, while 5 Israelis waited in jail. It began when this woman was watching the Twin Towers burning from her apartment in New Jersey. She noticed 3 men on top of a van, posing for pictures with the towers burning in the background.
And I could see that they were like happy. You know, they didn't look shocked to me. You know, they didn't look shocked. I thought it was very strange.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli. They were turned over to the FBI. Sources tell ABC News during a check of national security databases, some of the men were listed as having had connections with Israeli intelligence. At the FBI, that set off alarm bells. The FBI needed the answers to 3 important questions. Who were these men? What brought them to that parking lot on the morning of September 11th? And did they have any advance knowledge of what was going to happen that day? The men said they were just taking pictures at the time. They said they worked for a company called Urban Moving. The FBI obtained a search warrant for the company's offices.
2 SUVs were filled up with between 9 and 12 boxes and computers.
Not long after the arrests, the offices of Urban Moving were simply abandoned. Almost everything was left behind. In jail, the 5 Israelis were repeatedly interrogated and given lie detector tests. Stephen Gordon was their American lawyer.
They were asked questions if they had ever been approached by or hired by any non-United States intelligence community.
While there is still some debate among American intelligence officials, many investigators believe some of the men were part of an Israeli operation aimed at monitoring radical Islamic charities that support groups like Hamas. something lawyers for the 5 men and the Israeli government strongly deny.
These 5 Israelis were not involved in any intelligence operation in the United States. The story is simply false.
In the end, the FBI concluded there was no evidence that any of the 5 men had advance knowledge of the September 11th plot. After 71 days, the 5 Israelis were deported, leaving some ruffled feathers among both U.S. and Israeli officials. According to federal officials, the 5 men have been barred from returning to the United States for 10 years, they say because they violated immigration laws.
Bottom line, John, is there any evidence any of these 5 men knew about the September 11th attacks before they occurred?
The FBI spent a great deal of time examining this question. It does not appear that they were in place taking pictures before the planes hit, but shortly thereafter. And they say they haven't uncovered evidence that any of these 5 men, and they did their backgrounds, they searched apartments, they telephone records and so on, had any advance knowledge of the attack.
And while the FBI or certain sources might believe that in fact they were Israeli intelligence, they don't believe that the U.S. was a target, that they were actually investigating Muslim groups?
They believe if this was an intelligence operation by Israel, that it was focused on the Islamic groups and charities that raise money for groups that are considered by U.S. law enforcement and others terrorist groups. And you'll note that after September 11th, the U.S. moved on many of these groups with indictments, arrests, raids on their headquarters, something that hadn't happened prior to this.
These are groups that Israel believes.
Everyone remembers these images on that tragic day. But do you know what happened right before this scene was taken? The scene that is etched in nearly everyone alive at the time's memory. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
On this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Seal. What word? Seal. Yes, steel. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steel. Yes, steel. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 153.
Mission accomplished.
God bless the men and women that lost their lives that day. From the evil that rule us all, never forget. Everyone remembers these images on that.
Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Seal. What word? Seal. Yes, steel. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steel. Yes, steel. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 153.
Mission accomplished.
God bless the men and women that lost their lives that day. From the evil that rule us all, never forget.
Pain won't stop until the Twin Towers come crumbling down. Oh, yeah, right now, tonight, on top.
Terrorist attacks with one goal in mind, to defeat, or should I say demolish, the Twin Towers.
And tear down the Twin Towers. Yeah. Pain won't stop until the Twin Towers come crumbling down. Oh, yeah, right now, tonight, on prime time. Yeah. Everybody knows that the Twin Towers are big, strong, high buildings. They may be earthquake-proof. They may be typhoon-proof. They may be tidal wave-proof. And you're going to see the Twin Towers come crumbling down. Yeah.
I'd love to see New York. We could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fare. $9? This one's on me. I'd love to see New York. Super Sitter for me.
Unidentified warplane sighted heading for New York City. Our detection system shows nothing. Mayday! Mayday! New York is under attack! Intercept and destroy!
Through!
It's time. It's time. We will now the tower. No, you're stupid.
Well, you're stupider.
No.
Deadly. Wolf.
Yeah.
To our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous 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 to our democracy.
Because they've gone to jail as child sex offenders. Those police were also at my house. They were part of Scott Morrison's gang.
My brother, as you would...
To make child pornography of me, to become the current Prime Minister, Scott Morrison.
So, mate, you know, people are waking up.
Yeah.
You know, people are starting to look. You know, and I keep saying it, mate, we've got a Prime Minister who flew a pedophile halfway around the planet to sit down at dinner with the President of the United States. Now, let's just assume that all the people that called Trump a dickhead are correct. That dickhead told our fuckwit to take his mate and fuck off. Pardon the French.
Well, here I am at the White House. Never say never. A significant man, the President of the United States, could give it all the prayer we could possibly give it.
Now, let's just assume that all the people that called Trump a dickhead are correct. That dickhead told our fuckwit to take his mate and fuck off. Okay? That's what you got governing you. That's what you got. If you're Australian, that's what you've got governing you. How many suppressions orders are there in the federal parliament in relation to pedophilia? Yeah, 39 or something?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We should include in the terms of reference the institution of the law.
Friend of the Prime Minister is being charged. Let's go to Andrew Glenell, our political editor. Andrew, with this breaking news, the person concerned, Hillsong figure, had been invited to the White House, of course rejected the security clearance, but invited to the White House as a guest of the Prime Minister's. That's how close we're talking here.
Was Frank Houston involved in the church at that time?
Yes. Yes.
So let's just tell people who Frank Houston is. So he is the father of Brian Houston, who currently runs Hillsong Church. But Frank Houston was actually a pedophile, and he was charged in New Zealand, I think
That's
it was,
right.
wasn't it? With,
yes, and he fled over here to Australia. He set up the Christian Life Centre in Sydney, and from what I know, he went from strength to strength with the backing of one of the alphabet agencies in the States.
Leader, this is a New South Wales police statement. Church leader has been charged over the alleged concealment of alleged child sex offences. In 2019, an investigation commenced by officers attached to the Hills Police Area Command into reports a 67-year-old man had knowingly concealed information relating to child sex offences. Then they sent it to the DPP, and now the DPP has provided advice to police, a court attendance notice for concealing a serious indictable offence has been served on the man's legal representative about 2 p.m. today. And the statement goes on, police will allege in court the man knew information relating to the sexual abuse of a young male in the 1970s and failed to bring that information to the attention of police. This is terrible news for Scott Morrison.
The crimes of ritual sexual abuse happened in schools, churches, crimes of ritual sexual abuse. Crimes of ritual sexual abuse.
Doubt that Hillsong is actually a cover for ritual abuse and mind control. And I know from another victim that Dr. Anthony Kidman was actually involved in the unethical practices, psychological practices, in conjunction with Hillsong as well. So he would ensure that the victims did not speak.
It's what I'm saying. The church has its members in key positions.
The crimes of ritual sexual abuse.
But, you know, to come across as, you know, clean cut and respectable and whatever, you know. But far from it underneath it. It will
buildings.
Sexual offences against teenage boys, which was never actually named on the day. So there was a serious moral failure. He'd had to confront his father about it. His father had confessed. The National Executive had then taken away his credentials, investigated and taken away Houston Senior's credentials, and that Brian Houston himself was crushed. And he asked for the congregation to pray for his family, for his wife and his children. And the congregation did. They stood up and they applauded him, and that was the end of that speech.
There was no reference to the people that have been abused or whose lives may have been damaged?
Absolutely no reference to the victims. There was no stance taken on child sexual assault or child abuse of any form or care for children. There was no standing up and saying, look, we will not tolerate this in our congregation. And in fact, what it made me wonder was, if this is how they treat these kinds of issues on the most public level that they've got, how are they treating them on smaller, more, you know, in more private arenas?
So Deb says that her kids were brought in by a man called Ian Longstaff, who was actually the, you know, one of the architects or helped design some of the buildings, as well as other churches. And she suggested the reason, you know, that his skill set was used was because, you know, to build like certain tunnels or chambers or stuff for the satanic rituals to take place on church site, and that, you know, this is why his skill set was needed. So anyway, he was the main abuser of the two kids in these satanic rituals,
as well as them witnessing the murder of another girl.
Now, who are some of the big names in Hillsong who committed these crimes that were identified by the children?
Oh, Ian Longstaff. He was an architect. And I believe, from what I do know, that he also designed another church, which was a Catholic church. But I believe it was his skills and his knowledge that is being used to, create false rooms and doors and all that sort of thing for them to hide.
So hidden rooms for their rituals and for trafficking children and moving them around.
Yeah.
So where was the Catholic church that he designed?
That was in Kingsgrove.
Righto. And what about, and that's Sydney?
Yes,
and he designed the original Christian Life Centre that your children were abused at?
I believe they had a hand in all of that, yeah.
Okay, and where was that one? That was the one at Waterloo?
That was Waterloo.
Yeah, right.
In Yonge Street, Waterloo in Sydney.
Well,
I knew Ian. I met Ian when I was a child. He was a local member of the community, so to speak. How they infiltrated the local area was him and another man by the name of David Young used to come to the area and do like Sunday school, whole Sunday school sort of thing in the local park for the kids, and then give them lollies and whatever. But I mean, I was only a child then myself. So I knew this man. He wasn't a stranger. And so when I allowed my children eventually to go to Sunday school, I had no knowledge that this man was into what he was.
Was Longstaff ever charged?
No, they didn't even take a statement from him. Not even a formal statement.
So you're telling me the police didn't take a statement after your children...
That's exactly right. That's exactly what they did.
And would you consider him the main perpetrator?
Well, he was the main perpetrator in relation to my children.
And so the New South Wales Police failed to take a statement from the main perpetrator?
Yes, that's correct.
Did they do any investigation?
Oh, they basically did. Their investigations focused on me. How they could find a way to discredit me, to shut me up. They're actually, in their reports, it actually stated there are concerns about containing the mother.
Deb, but exactly. Here you've got Brian Houston, right, appears before the Royal Commission.
Brian Houston.
And then the Commission concludes that Brian Houston failed to report abuse and had a conflict of interest.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a big conflict of interest. He had to protect his business, Mr. 10%, they call him. I mean, these people are charging people 10% of their income to belong in their church. I mean, you're talking, young mothers
millions
and
and millions, yeah.
I mean, and he's living the life of Riley.
Oh yeah.
And whatnot off the pain and suffering of others.
Listen to this one this shows you how interconnected this fucking web is, where she talks about a woman who was on parole that had children, and that Hillsong had certain members within the church, and they were threatening to fucking take her child. And they tried to botch that she breached her parole, and she hadn't, in order to fucking take the children, and that they would prey on these vulnerable, especially vulnerable single mothers. And this happened a lot too with Frank Houston's volunteering with helping street kids and stuff like that, in with the salvos. Is then that what they would do, then Frank he'd be aware of all the certain street kids that would come in, kids that were drug addicts and whatever, and then he would have oversight for who were the vulnerable children that could be used.
Found over the course of time was that Hillsong placed their members in key positions. They manoeuvred things around so that they got into areas such as volunteering in policing, so that they had their evidence on her.
Still coming to the Police Boys Club. And because his stepfather was in charge of the club, everything appeared quite normal. But one day, policeman Stephen Dent took his stepson into an office in here and locked the door.
Then he started taking my clothes off, and he took his clothes off.
And then he turned around, turned me around, my back facing, and he penetrated me.
Did he say anything to you?
Didn't say a word. And then when he was finished, he just said, go and get dressed.
And he said to me, he touched me. And then I asked him, why didn't you tell me? And he said, you wouldn't have believed me. And I said, well, if you couldn't come to me, why didn't you come to somebody? Why didn't you tell someone? And he said, I did. I said, who did you tell? And he said, Gary Dench.
Pastor Gary Dench. This is Pastor Gary Dench of the Christian City Church.
He also died that we might know what it was to be healed.
Kerry's family were members of the church, and it was this minister who was told what was going on right back in 19 Ian Tracy.
They sat down and said, we've got, all got to talk, and Gary turned around to me, he said, now, your father's explained everything that's happened, he's told me what he's been doing to you and everything. And he said, but you've got to understand that, in a way, you led him on as well.
You led him on?
That's what I was told. And then,
It's all right, mate, that's okay. It's all right. Just... He hadn't been told. Kerry rang Pastor Dench.
I said, you knew that Steve was molesting him and you didn't do anything about it. And he said, frankly, Kerry, it was none of your business.
Pastor Gary Dench said this to you?
It was none of my business. They were his exact words.
But you're Jason's natural mother.
I pointed that out to him. And he said, this is something between a father and his son.
The point was that she ended up, after leaving this church, she went to Brian Houston and his church for, some consoling. And she basically, you can go onto this page here, it's called churchwatchcentral.com, and it's got her whole case on here as well as some of the documents. But basically, she went to Brian Houston in support, and that Brian Houston wouldn't do anything about it. And then he's denied ever having these sort of conversations with her.
Practices, psychological practices, in conjunction with Hillsong as well. So he would ensure that the victim.
But we all understand that with any vaccine, there are risk factors, and they're enumerated, and they're made available to people, and people make decisions about that.
Really? Okay. So think about what he just said. What a perfect out. Oh, the vaccines aren't mandatory. Oh, you just put everybody in a prison cell until they get a vaccine, but they're not mandatory. And what is he really doing there? He's essentially blaming people that get the vaccine. He's blaming them. He's saying, oh, you got the vaccine and you died? That's your fault, bud. But they always have their back out plan, don't they? They always have that trap door they can sneak out of when they get caught killing people with the vaccines. And here is a perfect example in clip 6 of the Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, when a media member brings up that the vaccine is killing people. Listen to his convenient out.
Your pharmacist as opposed to seeing the GP. And secondly, can you talk about the 2 people who've sadly died taking AstraZeneca? And would you be worried if one of those people, as I understand it, or the family claims wasn't fully informed of the symptoms to look out for?
Well, we're all responsible for our own health. And when it comes to informed consent and giving consent to whatever treatment or procedure you may have or I may have, then I'm ultimately responsible for what people do in their health treatment to me. And there has been the opportunity for people to visit their GP, to have that consultation. The government has provided that and funded that. And the informed consent process provides the decision to the individual. That's the sort of country we live in. People make their own decisions about their own health and their own bodies. That's why we don't have mandatory vaccination in relation to the general population here, because people make their own decisions. And we encourage people to make those decisions. We make as much information available to them as possible. The vaccines, like any vaccine, with any vaccine, there are risks associated, and I won't go into each of the individual ones because I don't want to particularly draw attention to anyone. But we all understand that with any vaccine, there are
Fam, check out this mini arc light generator, aka Stargate. Super fresh, right? It's just another example of the time we live in, right? The age of Aquarius. You know, the age of Aquarius is the age of knowledge, the age of wisdom, expansion, the codes, right? The water. All the wisdom is in the water. All the knowledge and the codes is in the water, fam. The water. Everything is water, right? 369, energetics. And at the same time, it's the age of the apocalypse, right? And what's the apocalypse? The unveiling. So the lifting of the veil. We are in the age of enlightenment, the age of illumination, all right? The expanse, what we call it, the range. This little bitty Stargate, it just really reminds me again of how advanced we are and how far we've come since.
Atmosphere.
Women stealing eggs from women, stealing sperm from men, abducting people, doing all kinds of wickedness in order to run this program, genetic manipulation program they've had going on for all these thousands of cycles. But like I'm telling you, family, the program's not working out. They have to flee off of Earth because the atmosphere has shifted, the frequency has gone up, and none of these mutant hybrid freaks can exist in the new. So yo, family, this is why I tell you, I will not lose. You see, if I not lose, this is what's left on Earth. The purebloods will be extinct and all will be running around with these deviants. I've been telling you about this deviant DNA for a long time. You see these Jabberwockies, these genetically modified organisms? Yeah, their code is starting to be expressed. What did I tell you guys yesterday? What did I tell you on the post yesterday? We're going through a major shift.
Why aren't we interested in how much the CIA knew about drug trafficking? Who was profiting from this drug trafficking? Who else knew about it? And why did it take some guy at a California newspaper by accident stumbling over this stuff 10 years later to ever get it to be public? What in the hell is going on here? I've been a reporter, like I said, almost 20 years. To me, this is a natural story. CIA is involved in drug trafficking. Let's know about it. Let's find out about it. Let's do something about it. Nobody wants to touch this thing.
That's Gary Webb, and this is Alternative Radio. This edition.
To the age 30, Lindsay won't see 25, and Michael Jackson has no more than 5 years left. At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not.
So that one little tooth that sticks way out, this tooth right here, excuse me, is your teeth. One changed its height. And let's take a look. Her teeth don't look human at all. Okay, moving on. So I'm going to play through some of this, and you should be able to see that those white objects that are going to show up under her nose, and her teeth are changing also. Her front tooth seems to change shape. Okay. You can see there. And look at her eyes. Look at her eye.
Barack Obama does this hand sign, as well as can be seen wearing a Masonic ring in a Newsweek article from 2008.